Now on PBS. So what's a worker to do in an economy where wages are stuck in low gear? These guys decided to fight back against the odds.
Just the notion that a small farm worker organization was really going to be able to take on Taco Bell. I mean, it's the ultimate David and Goliath story, and, you know, most of the time Goliath wins.
And a California woman's fight for jobs has rallied workers and rattled the governor.
Now what's happened is our protests have grown to thousands.
All that on Now with David Brancaccio. The weekly news magazine from PBS. Funding for Now has been provided by the Orphala Family Foundation, the Park Foundation, the Nathan Cummings Foundation, the Town Creek Foundation, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. Now, from Northern New Jersey, Public Broadcasting's David Brancaccio.
Welcome, coming to you from a random commercial strip here in Fast Food Nation. It's our gift to you during these often dark, ugly times. No, not the gorgeous landscape. What we have is a story about the economics of today that does not end terribly. Social action gone right. You see, the food in places like this isn't just fast, it's cheap. The prices are possible in part because of the contributions of some of the lowest paid laborers in our society, farm workers. Give me just a few moments of your time and I'll show you how 1 extra US cent, a single penny per pound of tomatoes harvested for fast food joints like these, can transform lives. Carla Murphy produced our report. This part of Florida has a name that rhymes with broccoli, but Immokalee's thing is tomatoes, endless fields of tomatoes, and if you move in closer, farm workers. Many are here in search of a better life, traveling from faraway Mexico, Guatemala, Haiti. Lucas Benitez once made that journey. At 17, he came here from Mexico, expecting hard work but decent pay. The hard work was here, but on the pay, Benitez found something very different. Not only were the wages barely enough to live on, many workers lived in a climate of intimidation, fear, and violence.
You know, when you're in a desert and you need water, you're going to look for water. But if you don't find it, you're going to die. And this is how it was in Immokalee, like a desert of justice.
But Benitez would eventually find what he sees as justice thanks to this organization that he helped put together 12 years ago, the Coalition of Immokalee Workers. It's still not clear what gave these workers the nerve to push back, but fight they did. And what they wanted was clear, to work without fear of being beaten, and to get just a few pennies more for the tomatoes they pick. Even so, it's been a long uphill battle, one that brought them face to face with the largest fast food company in the world. And their fight could have effects way beyond the fields of Immokalee. It's so charming picking a few tomatoes off your backyard vine, but try doing it every workday and see how your back feels. Lucas Benitez knows just how hard it is.
These buckets weigh 32 pounds, and they weigh 32 pounds all day long. You have to run 100 or 150 feet to where you take the buckets. And this is in temperatures that are in the 90s, sometimes even hotter than 90. But you have to keep running the whole day.
See how they're cranking? These guys get paid by the bucket. Fill 125 in one day and you'll earn about 50 bucks. Keep up that pace the whole season and you'll make about $7,500. Such wages make these farm laborers some of the poorest workers in the nation. It's a rough way to barely make a living, but it was even worse before the coalition got started. In the past, Immokalee was notorious among workers for the way some labor contractors, bosses, brutalized their crews.
We lived in a climate of fear. The bosses felt like they were kings or that they were gods over all the workers. And there were cases of physical violence while you were working. It was very normal. A lot of times when someone wanted water, the boss didn't want them to have any. They'd say, "You came here to work. You didn't come here to drink water."
And it was a drink of water and all that followed that would eventually change these workers' lives. In 1996, a 17-year-old boy was brutally beaten by his boss for stopping to drink. The injustice ignited the coalition, and the workers turned out in force. 500 members marched to the contractor's house carrying the boy's bloody shirt. With no union to protect them and afraid that any authorities they went to might deport them, the workers realized that any change would have to come from them. The next day, not a soul turned up to work in that contractor's fields. That day turned into weeks. The message was clear.
This was what changed the balance of power. The bosses no longer would be confronted with one worker, but instead they would have to confront the entire group.
But the coalition has also been fighting for a different kind of justice. Economic justice. Tomato pickers had not gotten a real raise in 30 years. Not for lack of trying. The coalition repeatedly pressured local growers for a raise to no avail.
For years, we directly confronted the growers, but we realized that confronting them directly really wasn't the most intelligent tactic.
The growers argued they couldn't afford to pay better wages. They said they were being squeezed by higher-ups in the food chain, or make that the supply chain. At the top are the corporate giants like Yum Brands, the world's largest fast food company. You may not know the corporate name, but you know its brands. Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Long John Silver's, Pizza Hut, even those A&W places. A company like Yum buys a vast amount of tomatoes, and the growers are desperate for their business.
They purchase at such large volumes, they can say, we want to purchase at this cost. And growers, in this instance, want to be responsive. They want these contracts.
Reverend Noel D'Amico runs an effort for the Presbyterian Church USA called the Campaign for Fair Food and has worked closely with the coalition.
While the prices on many other inputs, whether that's pesticides or tractors, go up, the one place that growers can contain costs is by holding down the cost of labor.
We knew the fast food industry was involved in this business and that they are demanding the products at a low price. The only people who pay the price for these cheap products are us, the workers.
The coalition wanted to talk to one of these buyers and appeal to them for help. But the problem was they had no way of connecting the tomatoes they picked to any specific company. Contracts between buyers and growers are considered competitive information and kept secret. But in 1999, the coalition got a break. An article appeared in this industry journal that briefly mentioned a long-term contract between Yum subsidiary Taco Bell and the 6L's Packing Company, one of the growers in Immokalee that workers say was paying low wages.
When the workers saw this connection, they said, maybe if we go to Taco Bell, they'll say, certainly we don't want to be purchasing tomatoes from suppliers that are exploiting workers. Surely we don't want to be making our profits this way.
But really, could a small group of farm workers from South Florida get the ear of a big company like Taco Bell? The coalition wrote Taco Bell a letter asking for a meeting, but heard nothing. They wrote again, same result. The coalition realized it was going to take more than a letter to get Taco Bell's attention.
Señores, atención por favor.
They declared a nationwide boycott of Taco Bell in early 2001.
For years we've had our hand in the industry, but we were always invisible. Nobody saw us. So we decided to put our mark and our fight in front of these restaurant chains, and we began with Taco Bell.
Workers from Immokalee hit the road, leaving the fields and their paychecks behind. They staged protests at Taco Bell restaurants in various cities, trying to